Hey, this is Matt Halloran, your friendly neighborhood influence expert. I want to take about 10 minutes of your time to walk you through this absolutely game-changing tool that we have created for you, the advisor, to make it so that you can not only find out where you are on our influence continuum, but how you can fill the gaps and accelerate your influence so you can become the influencer that you need to be, because influence is the only marketing left. Now, this is a proven system. Now, we didn't just come up with this in a lab. We've done over 7,000 podcast episodes for financial services professionals and over 250,000 social media posts. We've tested this, and most importantly, my partner Kirk Lowe and I are not just the founders of the company, but we're also a client of Proudmouth, and we have seen our influence just absolutely rocket since we've implemented this system specifically. So who are we? For the last 20 years, my partner Kirk Lowe and I have exclusively worked in financial services. So those numbers that I just gave you have also been executed with zero compliance issues. There really isn't anybody in the influence/podcasting game in financial services who have our experience and our track record for performance. We've also based this off of some great scholarly work. There's a gentleman named Dr. Robert Cialdini. If you don't know who Doc is, you got to look him up. He wrote a book called The 7 Principles of Influence, and our 7 rocket boosters have been based off of his 7 Principles of Influence, but they've also been vetted by other people. Now, you probably have seen this person's name before. It's Dr. Daniel Crosby. Now, he's the Chief Behavioral Officer for Orion Advisor Services, but he was just recently on one of our shows. And he said, influence is like the Swiss Army, knife that every advisor needs to have in their pocket at all time, because there isn't anything more important than how to become more and more influential as an advisor, because that's what you do every day. You influence people to make wise financial planning decisions in order for them to achieve their long-term financial and life goals. Being influential is part of who you are and what you do, but the biggest issue is very few of you know where you are today and what gaps you have to fill those gaps so that you can have a better tomorrow. And we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. I need to lay a little bit of a foundation. We have something called the stages of influence. There's 4 stages of influence because we want to move from you talking to skeptics to having fans come in pre-sold, and that they're going to talk about you and help you in the sales process. There are some of you who are at really stage 1 here, which is the apprentice. This is where you're good at what you do, but nobody's really paying attention because you haven't really ironed out the kinks of your business. You're still trying to sell to absolutely everybody, and anybody who can fog a mirror is a potential client. Then you move from apprentice to expert. This is where most of you are. You are an expert. You've done your hours. You've got the education. You've checked those boxes. And people are starting to pay attention to you. You generally at this stage have some centers of influence that are referrals, but you still are giving them way more referrals than you're getting back from them because you haven't achieved what we refer to as escape velocity. When you hit this authority, this is when people are really, really paying attention to you. This is where you're getting as many referrals back, but you're not necessarily known as that person in your specific niche or niche. That is when you actually hit this next phase, which is what we call celebrity. When you get to celebrity, what happens is you actually achieve something that we call escape velocity, and it's the power of weightless marketing, which means that you still have to spend the same amount of time marketing, but it becomes much easier. You don't have to put in as much effort because you know what you're talking about, you know who you're talking to, and it's very, very easy for you to do this. But what happens with a lot of you is you get to this authority phase and you get pulled back with the gravitational pull to mediocrity because you go to a conference and some super great person's on stage and they get you all motivated. You want to buy their product because they've got the marketing solution for you. That is not how marketing works. Most of you are doing marketing ideas that are fits and starts. You don't let them take enough time to really build up the momentum that you need. You do a couple of seminars here. You do an email nurture sequence here. You buy leads here. You got Dave Ramsey's program over here. You do a bunch of networking stuff over here. But none of them are actually working together to help you achieve this escape velocity. It's just these concentric roller coaster circles that are actually nauseating and a really, really bad use of your time. The other thing that I want you to know is many of you don't realize how long this actually takes, how many touches it takes for you to really get people's attention. In order for people to even consider buying from you, you're 15 touches in. 15 touches in before they are interested in taking next steps. So I put this along with this here, our skeptics to fans, because again, fans come in pre-sold because you have all of this other social proof that's building a relationship with them when it's convenient for them, not you. And what happens is they come in and they're like, oh my God, Jane, I know you already. You're awesome. I follow you on social. I've been, interacting with your social media stuff. I've listened to your podcast, or I watch your videos, or I watch your blog. You are who I need. How do I sign up? You might think that's crazy, but this works. We've got proof over the last 5 years. So the stages of influence, when you get to celebrity, this is when people are telling other people to do business with you. Now, this can be two areas of fans, and potentially there can be overlap. The first area of fans are your ideal clients. Those can be the people who are telling other ideal clients. But most importantly, you can also have fans who are your centers of influence, who are actively driving business to your business because they like, know, and trust who you are and know that your content really builds the whole case for them. You have to make a decision right now. Are you talking to skeptics? Now, these are people who you always have to tell the same story to in the discovery call. Who are you? Why did you start in the business? Why are you so smart? Who do you work with? Could you imagine if you could take all of that stuff and package it to people so they can learn that? So your discovery calls are, they come in and say, I want to work with you for this reason, this reason, this reason. That's what real influence is. That's what we help you build. Our goal is to move you across this influence continuum to help move them from being skeptical to truly being fans. Now, how do we do this? This is the last part of the presentation. How do we do this is by changing your philosophy on this statement. Influence is marketing. You compete in the expertise economy, whether you know it or not. You have to understand influence is the only marketing left. So how do you figure out where you are on this influence continuum? Well, you take a test, right? We have this thing called the Influence Readiness Score, and this is the first influence test that's ever been built in financial services and really outside financial services, but you're our ideal client, so we're bringing this to you. That will also help you with the Launchpad and Mission Control, which I'm going to talk about here in just a minute. So you take this Influence Readiness Score. It's about 120 questions. It does take you some time. But what happens is not only are they thoughtful questions that are going to make you question what you're doing and learn about what you're doing wrong already just by the questions, but then you get a score. We have quantified this and gamified this to make it so that you can truly find out where you are on the influence continuum. This person right here is actually in the expert phase, so they're plus 25 and more, between 25 and 50, and you can see what their scores are. We've gamified this so that you can't move on to the next level until you complete and get a 50% or higher. We also have a badge system in place, so as you continue to increase your score, you get bigger and better badges. It also unlocks other levels so that you can continue to level up, but most importantly, in a systematic, structured way. Now, so we're going to talk about what happens here. We based all of this off our 7 drivers of influence. I'm not going to go through all of these because you can look on the screen and see what they are. But most of you have issues with really 3 categories. The first one is you don't know who you're talking to, or you haven't solidified your ideal audience. That's number 1. The second thing is most of you don't really have a plan, right? So your plan is not like a 12 to 24, 48 monthly marketing plan. You have to have that in place. And then the last one is synergy. Your marketing isn't pointing you all in the same direction. So how do we help you with this? Well, so as you can see, you take the test, you get a score, and then you go into this mission control and our launch sequence here for the audience. You can see that there are different colors. The red means that you have a lot of work to do, like you haven't really made a lot of progress. So in this, you click on this, which takes you to our academy and takes you to the exact course you need to take in order for you to bridge the gap and actually accelerate your influence. Listen, stop struggling to be the marketer that you're not and focus on what you're great at. Being an expert, being a great advisor, join this program. This is the best money that you are ever going to spend on marketing because not only can you do the work, but your team can too. This is Matt Halloran, and I'll see you on the other side of the mic and hopefully see you in office hours in our academy very, very soon.